So any questions you have, put them into the chat, and Lolita will help guide us. Thank you, Lolita. How are you?
Doing good, Kevin. That was fantastic. And we've got a lot of really good questions coming in.
Good.
I'd like to start. I really want to hear your perspective on this specifically. Jennifer is wondering, can you talk about accelerator versus real free life and then versus escape velocity, kind of these three main programs and kind of what the differences are, and also probably who should be applying to which program?
Yeah. Essentially, so the phases, if you're in phase 1 through 3, then your focus will be escape velocity. That is the program that we created specifically to help new freelancers start their business, right? So if you're right now just saying, okay, I found this copy thing, but oh my God, there's a million different trainings. There's a million people telling me all the ways I should be doing this. I just want a clear path. Where do I focus my energy, and how do I grow the confidence to get on a call or engage with a prospect and actually sell myself and sell my services, right? That's what escape velocity is. Soup to nuts, right? Beginning to end. How, when you leave that program, you'll have a portfolio, you'll have scripts for how to handle those conversations, both through email and on calls. You'll have chosen a money skill to focus on. We teach you what are the most in-demand services and what kind of clients look for those services. What should you be charging for those services? So we just answer it's like business in a box, so to speak, but completely customizable to who you are, what you want from the business, and what you feel uniquely qualified to provide. It drives me a little crazy, this, Lolita, when people promise that they have a single system that can turn anybody into an overnight freelancer earning 10K a month, because the way, say, like a 25-year-old single guy who lives alone would go about that process compared to a single mother who has a lot less time and energy to devote to it. It's just not the same. And so what happens is, if it's built for the 25-year-old single dude, and the single mom tries to go through it, or the single parent, and they're going, they think it's them. I guess I'm not smart enough to do this, or why is it so? Well, it's easy for the other person because they're in a completely different life circumstance than you, right? And so all of our stuff is designed to help the individual. And that's why we create these assessments, because look, all these trainings are from our own sort of research laboratory of coaching people directly one-on-one, again, for 7 years now. Like Melanie Warren has been my student. I learn as much from her now every day as she does for me, certainly, but she was the first person to ever sign up for my coaching when I first opened Copy Chief, my private coaching in 2014. I still coach her to this day, right? And so and she's a mother of 5, a single mother of 5 kids, and she's managed to have this amazing career. And so we, the trainings are the result of what I've learned from my students about how to, what are the essential tools that everybody needs. None of this is a one size fits all thing when it comes to freelancing. I'm sorry, it just isn't. Sure, there's formulas that might help you do a thing better, but when it comes to you deciding what you want from your career and how you're going to go about that, it's got to be customizable, and that's what these are. And so RFL is for 4 and 5. It focuses more on how to really grow your authority, how to produce great authority content, how to be live mic ready, how to be able to show up on a podcast and really knock it out of the park, how to grow your list, how to start partnering, with great clients, how to network at higher levels, those kinds of things. That's 4 and 5. And then Accelerator is our coaching program. And so wherever you are on the journey, you could come into our coaching program now, go through the training that we have for your phase, but also coach you directly along the way. And so it's sort of the best of both worlds. You could either, Escape Velocity is available as a standalone course if you just want to go through that course and use it and succeed with it, fantastic. If you decide you want help with it, you can join Accelerator. If you're the kind of person who knows you need help and accountability at all times, like I am, I always have coaches in my life, multiple coaches, then I would suggest, learning more about Escape Velocity and helping us guide you through the training that you need for your phase.
How do you know you're ready for coaching? Because a lot of people, we want to do it on our own. We'd like to think that we've got it all together. But what's the difference between, kind of letting go and saying, look, like I can use this, I can grow much faster. How do you know when you're ready for that or when you need that type of help growing your business?
Well, I think there's, two ways to know. There's sort of like internal and external, right? Like externally, if you feel stuck, one is if you're the kind of person who trusts a guide, and if you think about other times in your life that you've felt clear and motivated and you've progressed, and other times where you felt stuck and confused right? Is the difference that you had reliable sources, that you could trust? It really comes down to trust. If you're the kind of person who is an amazing self-learner and, very disciplined, how to spend your time, it's quite possible you could take a training and just apply it. And I personally, maybe it's because I'm such a collaborator and relationships are everything to me. I can't imagine ever moving faster without guidance or a coach. But if you feel stuck, you're ready for coaching. If, internally you are struggling with making that kind of investment, then that might be where you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit more, but never spend money you can't afford to spend. Like we never ask anybody to come into our trainings and say, all right, I'm going to give you, the last money I have on earth. And boy, I sure hope you can help me multiply it by the end of 3 months or 6 months. We say, that's probably not the best scenario. If you're looking at freelancing as your last ditch effort to get your money straight, you're going in compromised. Now, that's not to say that it should be nothing to you to make the investment, but I know for me, the first hefty sum I ever paid, or significant sum I ever paid, was to Dean Jackson. It was $5,000 to spend 3 days with him and 7 other people in a room in Orlando. It was the first ever breakthrough blueprint he ever did. It was an experiment for him. And it was life-changing for me, but it was hard. I didn't quite have that kind of money as a capital resource back then. And we talked about time, energy, and money, right? But I knew if I didn't make the investment, I wouldn't know where to go. I was really stuck on what to do next. And I trusted Dean. And, the interesting thing is it wasn't about, oh, I'm going to pay Dean this money and I sure hope I get a result. What I felt when I decided to do it was this internal confidence of, wow. It was almost like an out-of-body experience, because I was literally remember saying to myself, oh, look at you. I literally said those words, like, look at you. Like, wow, like you really believe in yourself here. That's amazing. It wasn't, and of course, I went to Michelle and we talked about it and she agreed and those things, but it started internally of me saying, wow, this is a breakthrough that you're willing to invest an amount that's uncomfortable to you because you really trust that you'll do something with the information. And I did, and I continued to do that. I've now paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to coaches, and every single dime of it is paid off. And so it's an internal and external sort of like indicating process, you know?
Yeah, and I think that a lot of our students have also seen that the investments they put forward tend to multiply themselves over time, which is awesome. Do you have
Yeah,
time for a couple more questions?
sure. Yep.
Tommy's wondering what kind of copy a Colby of 5276 might consider.
Interesting. And I'm sorry, what's the last two? I know it's fact finder, implementer.
It's going to be fact finder, implementer, and then another one is give me just a second.
Quick
I'll look
start.
this up. Quick starter is another one. Good one.
I just want to make sure I know what the 7 and 6 are. What are they, Tommy?
And then implementer, fact finder, follow through is actually the second one. You've got the quick start, and then the implementer is the final one.
All right, so you're highest on quick start and good on implementing, and right down the middle on research. Yeah. You know, it's I don't know if it equates more to the kind of scenarios you want to get in, Tommy, right? I would say this, like, obviously I'd say shorter copy rather than long. Like if I'm an 8444, and so, you know I need a lot of information before I can make a decision. And I always really loved the research part of writing copy projects. Look at Lolita. Yeah. 7292. Wow. That's dramatic. That's really interesting. And so for you, Lolita, I know you are very much a quick start. You're also great with follow through. So that's kind of interesting that those are so low. But when you agree that it's maybe I would, Facebook ads, email, things that you can get in and out of quickly. If you struggle with implementation and follow through, a 2 or 3 month project might drive you crazy. So that's one thing you can sort of assess with it, Tommy. But it's also, like for me, I was horrible at getting started. I can't believe I'm even a 4 on quick start, to be honest. I should be like a 1, because that was my big Achilles, was like sitting and starting the actual writing. And I would use research as an excuse to put that off as long as I could. And so what I finally did was I found a writing partner. I started coaching him, and we were a natural fit. He was an amazing quick start and could pump out first drafts of long copy really fast. And so we worked great together as a team. And so there's all kinds of solutions. I think in the beginning, you just have to know yourself and say, yeah, if I'm going to get bored with a topic within a month, maybe I won't take on like a long form copy project, because that tends to take a couple months.
I honestly think, Tommy, that your cold will have more to do with the type of path you choose as a freelancer rather than just the type of copy you write, because you can have you can write all different types of copy, but it'll probably have a lot more to do with, the type of people you surround with and the way that you structure your business later on, not so much the type of copy you write. I don't know if that helps at all.
No, it does. I think that's a really good insight. Yeah. Judy, it's Kolbe, Kolbe, Kolbe assessment. It's like $50. It's really insightful. You should definitely, I think any freelancer should know their Kolbe. It's very insightful.
Very insightful.
Yeah, Kolbe. Yep. Go ahead.
One more question from Jemima. Can I start posting content, say on email marketing, and starting out? I think this is more a question about, am I an authority? Can I post authority content if I'm not at the stage 4 level or the phase 4 level of my business yet?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah. Here's the thing. Yes, you can and should. And I know a lot of imposter syndrome crops up when you're, oh my gosh, I'm going to call myself an authority. Maybe I should have come up with a better name for it that isn't as intimidating. But the great thing about writing, just think of it as educational content. You're teaching what you're learning. That's all authority content is. And so wherever you are on your path and whatever is relevant to you and has you excited, you're just putting that in like you would tell a friend about it. And the nice thing about writing, say, an article or a blog post is it allows you to structure your thinking around it a little cleaner, right? And but you don't have to come out and say, I'm the world's greatest expert on this because of this. And it's about, hey, here's something cool I'm learning, and here's how I'm using it, and here's what I'm connecting it to in other parts of life that I, there's this all kinds, just like you would tell a friend about it, something you find interesting that you're learning about copywriting, and you just put that into article format, and that's your authority content. And the thing it does is, just like if you had a friend and you met for coffee once a week and they were like, what's going on with copy? And they were like really enthusiastic to hear all about it. You'd come alive, and, over, say like the 3 months of those weekly meetings, you'd be talking about stuff that, was on a totally different level than when you started talking about it. And authority content is our sort of internal processing way to do that, and see what we're learning, engage what we're learning. And so you don't have to be the world's greatest expert in anything. You only have to know about 10% more than the person you're teaching it to. And so it's a great exercise for you to learn better what you're learning, so to speak. And it also makes a handy tool for people to see what you do. And it's amazing how effective it is. So many people wait and they put it off, or they have imposter syndrome. I'm telling you, busy clients, or clients are, busy. They just want to see that you're spending time learning and focusing your energy, your time and energy on the thing that makes them money, right? And that's why they give you money to do that for them, because you're demonstrating that you're doing the work that they don't have time to do, or don't feel particularly good at, right? And so it's just a way to signal the thing that the fact that you're putting time and energy into it is as valuable to a lot of clients is, as how experienced you might be doing it, right? So don't get hung up on the rules around when it's time to create authority content. Do it for yourself, but also post it to the world, because the right people will respond.
Yeah, and if you call it authority content or content creation and stuff like that, it seems a bit more like an intimidating thing that's hard to take on. If you just call it learning out loud, it's one of the easiest things to get started with, and you can kind of allow yourself to feel that process and go
That's a
through it.
great term. I love that. Learning out loud. Yeah.
So Marcus has one more question. He wants to know where to find out more about what a step one service is.
Yeah. I love step one services. So imagine, you're a working freelancer, you have your specialty, and so you have what we call a dream package. And so it's like, if, like I said, if I were to introduce you to a dream client tomorrow, and, in your perfect fantasy world, if you could orchestrate everything that happens from there, right? What would they get on a call with you and say, here's what we're struggling with, and, here's where we need help. And obviously, you want to understand if you have a dream client, they should be your dream client because you've been studying their marketing and seeing where you feel compelled to help. Like, for instance, like, you love their products, you love their message, you love the result they get for their customers, but their emails are really weak, or formatted in a way that's unappealing, or they clearly don't understand direct response principles, or, and so maybe their marketing is just a little bit all over the place, right? And so if you can imagine what you would do for them because you've been studying them, that's sort of the dream package. It's like, all right, I would, first of all, I would get with a designer, or talk to your tech team and tell them to take that stupid header out of the emails, right? That'd be the first thing to go. We would use like Chris Orzakowski, email copywriting academy formatting to make it all text. We'd be telling better stories. We'd be helping your customers and your prospects learn more about the company and why they should care about buying from you, and so you sort of have a whole list of things that you would bring to them that they don't have now, and that's the dream package. Step one service is the first thing that you would need to do if they bought your dream package, right? What's the first thing you would need to do to start doing that full package for them? Well, you'd need to dig deep into their stuff and see what they're doing. How are they communicating with their audience? Do they understand their customer's journey? are they aware of where their sales are coming from? Are they aware of why people buy from them or continue buying for them? So once you sort of understand where they are and their knowledge about their customers, so for instance, in the email example, for instance, you might say, okay, let's first do, I'm going to do an email audit. You're going to send me, the last 3 months of emails that you guys have sent out. I'm going to look through them. I'm not going to critique every one of them, but I'm going to see the pattern of what you show me, everything you've tried, and give me any numbers you have on how it's worked. And I'm going to come back and make my suggestions on how you should overhaul or optimize your email marketing strategy, right? So that would be, because you would have to do that work, that research, and that deep dive to do the writing. But if you only offer the audit, it might take you, a couple hours to do. You could charge anywhere from $500 to a few $1,000s to do it. And of course, when you give your report, they're going to want you to then help. If they agree with what you said, they're not going to go look for someone else. They're like, okay, let me go find some brand new copywriter who has no confidence, and I'll just tell them to do what you said. They're going to say, how much for you to do it, right? So that's a step one service. I hope that's clear. And it applies to anything. It's just the first thing you would do to do the deeper work. And again, like I said, the beauty of it is you get to date a lot of clients, because sometimes you do like an audit for somebody and they're a nightmare to work with. They take too long to get you the stuff you need. They're not communicative. They might even be nasty, or like they don't take feedback well. And you're like, oh, thank God I only did this. This would not have been fun to work with this client. And you're out. Minimal pain on your part, and you learned not to work deeper with a certain client. It's really cool.
Yeah, and Marcus, I'll reach out to you afterward with a couple trainings in the dashboard that'll help you develop this a little farther. I have a lot of stuff on that already. That's all the questions, Kevin.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So again, like, there's no reason anybody shouldn't go, we call it apply, but really it's just you filling out. I actually amended this application today to make it much more about us learning where you are on your path. So it's really just us asking questions, learning about you. And like I said, Lolita is going to take your survey results, review them. And we have team meetings about this all the time, where we look and we again, this is our research and development. You're helping us, and you're helping us help you, essentially. And so she'll give you free resources if you need them. If you have questions, if you're interested in joining one of the programs, she'll tell you more about that too. But this is not a sales call in disguise. This is the awesome Lolita, who you see right here before you, personally helping you phase forward through your journey. So I hope you all do it. And I hope to meet you, again on another call or in Copy Chief. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And thank you, Lolita. We'll see you soon.
You guys.
Thanks. Bye.